What do you want from me? Why you keep following me?
No one seems to know exactly what they are or where they're coming from.
From eerie creatures in woods to mysterious beings appearing out of nowhere. These bizarre sightings have been leaving many in disbelief. So hang on to watch unbelievable moments that got caught on camera and shocked everyone.
What do you want from me?
A man's pet dog ran into the woods and didn't return. He went to search for it late at night alone, which was definitely not the best decision. He searched for it for a long time, and just as he was about to return, he felt some strange movement around him. He thought it might be his dog, but it was exactly the opposite of what he expected. A scary, skinny figure was standing right in front of him. When he shone his light on the figure's face, he realized he had made a mistake. He instantly ran away from the sight, and his dog never returned.
Why you keep following me?
Demonic wolf. Back in 2019, a YouTuber went camping in the woods of Portugal. He had set up all his things and was sleeping calmly when suddenly he heard a scary roar that woke him up. He got really scared because it sounded like a wolf. He started checking around, and what he was afraid of appeared in front of him. It was indeed a wolf, but not a normal one. Its eyes and scary face made it look like a possessed werewolf. He quickly ran away from there and never went back again. Skinwalker dog. A group of friends were traveling from Austin to Dallas, Texas, late at night when they saw an abandoned house. They decided to rest there for a while, but when they entered the house, they realized something was wrong here. As they were observing the surroundings, they heard strange noises. When they checked, they found a creepy dog inside a cage. It was so scary and weird that they instantly realized this was no normal dog. It seemed like the result of some scientist's experiment, or as if it was possessed. They didn't feel safe staying there, so they left the house, which I would say was the right call. Monster cow. While coming back late from work, a man took a shortcut through the woods. Everything seemed fine, but then he saw a cow in the middle of the road. He was surprised, wondering how a cow could be in the middle of the road at this hour. But this wasn't an ordinary cow. As soon as it turned its head, he saw its face, which was exactly like the Demogorgon from the Stranger Things series. He immediately turned his car and drove away from there. I guess he will never take this route again. Skinwalker under bridge. In a town in Romania, a boy used to take late-night walks every day, but one night something happened to him that he would probably never forget. As he was heading back home, he heard some strange noises from under the bridge. At that time, he shouldn't have gone to check, but he still did. As he went down, a creepy skinwalker appeared in front of him. Looking angry and hungry. Before it could harm him, he quickly ran away. I hope he never makes the same mistake again. Creepy creature.
Vocês vão ser levados junto com os filhos dela.
Back in 2019, in a small town in Peru, a group of cops was conducting their routine patrol. They heard strange noises coming from an abandoned house. When they got closer, one of the cops saw something that terrified him badly. A headless man in white clothes was running towards them at full speed. They quickly ran away from there and never went back to that side again. What exactly it was, no one knows. But surely, there were paranormal activities happening in that house. Terrifying creature. In a small town in Peru, reports were coming in that a scary figure was often seen there, so everyone stayed extra careful. However, this man didn't take this seriously. He remained carefree. And then one day, exactly what he had ignored happened when he entered his room late at night. The same scary being was right in front of him. Its face looked like a scary joker, and the rest of its body was like a reptile. The man was so scared that he couldn't believe his eyes. He quickly ran away, and when he looked back a little later, the creature was gone. Now I am sure he will never be so careless again. Bony, tall creature. A tourist came to explore an abandoned town in Brazil, where usually no one went because it was believed that a giant creature lived there. But he didn't listen to anyone and was exploring everything normally when suddenly what he had been warned about happened. A giant skinny creature appeared, and seeing it, he was terrified. Surprisingly, this giant started making noises like a werewolf, which left him even more confused. He barely managed to sneak away from there, or else we might never have seen this video. Scary creature. A couple in Brazil was returning home late at night after watching a movie when suddenly something appeared on the road that terrified them. At first, they thought someone was playing a prank on them, but when they looked closer, they realized it was a creepy humanoid creature. They were scared and stayed there for some time, but then luckily, the creature went somewhere else, and they safely made it home. What do you think it was? Let me know in the comments. Humanoid creature. It was often said that secret scientist experiments were taking place at a zoo in Romania. To investigate, a group of friends went there and started exploring the entire zoo. They couldn't find anything unusual for a long time, but then one of the friends discovered a hidden passage leading to a secret room. When they entered, they were shocked by what they saw. A terrifying humanoid creature was locked in a cage, looking extremely dangerous. It seemed like the result of some scientific experiment on a human. They were extremely scared and feared that if someone saw them, the same thing might happen to them. So, they quickly ran away, which I would say was the right decision. Dirt creature. On a typical fall day in Texas, a man was setting up his gear for camping in the woods, but suddenly he noticed something unusual on the ground, which at first he thought was just his imagination. But then, when he looked closely, he saw it was a strange octopus-like creature that was continuously moving in a weird way through the dirt. He couldn't believe it, because even if it was an octopus, how could it move like that in the dirt? He decided it was better not to stay there and set up his camp elsewhere, but what that creature was remains a mystery. Cryptid enters city. A man went to spend some time by the sea, but as soon as he arrived, something unusual happened. He noticed something emerging from the sea, and at first, he thought it was a fish. But when it fully came out, he was terrified. It was a monster-like creature that was now coming toward the land. Luckily, the man quickly ran away without coming into sight, but where it went from there, and exactly what it was, remains unknown. Mysterious being. A group of friends were setting up their camping gear in the woods when suddenly they felt a strange movement near them. They became fully alert and started checking around, and suddenly something emerged from behind the bushes that terrified them. It was a scary creature that looked like it belonged to a sci-fi movie character. Before it could harm them, they immediately ran away and never returned to that place again. Mystical creature spotted. While coming home late at night from work, a man saw something outside his house that shocked him badly. At first, he thought it was a strange tiger, but things changed quickly. It turned out to be a weird creature with the face and wings of an eagle and a tail like a fish. Its whole body was glowing, as if colorful lights were placed on it. As the man watched in fear, the creature went into the woods and was never seen again. Strange creature.
I don't think that was right.
Oh! In a small town, locals would often hear scary noises coming from an abandoned house, which disturbed them a lot. They informed the authorities about it, who then sent some cops to check the house. As soon as they entered, they realized something was wrong here. They were checking every room carefully, but didn't know that what they were looking for was walking above them on the ceiling. It was a skinwalker, and as soon as they saw it, it jumped on them. Fortunately, they were able to escape unharmed, and the eerie sounds were never heard again. Unknown creature. A man was exploring the woods but didn't realize he had gone pretty deep into it. As he was about to turn back, he noticed someone sitting in the middle of the road. From a distance, he couldn't tell what it was because it was too dark, but when he looked closely, he was shocked. He noticed small horns on its head and realized that it was a demon, probably waiting for him to come closer. He immediately ran away. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened with him. Wendigo sighting. In a small town in West Virginia, strange noises were often heard coming from the woods late at night during the winter of 2012. Then, a brave man went there alone to investigate. He explored the woods for a long time, but saw nothing. But then he noticed a deer behaving strangely and moved toward a tree. He followed it and saw a figure near the trees with glowing eyes and a creepy smile. This all pointed towards the fact that the deer, along with the scary figure, might turn into a Wendigo at night. He left the site and warned everyone to stay away from the woods. After some time, the strange noises stopped on their own. Creepy shapeshifter. CCTV footage from a village in India captured something that left viewers puzzled. The footage clearly shows a ghostly figure appearing near a cow and behaving strangely. It remained there for a while before disappearing. When the video was shared on social sites, people gave different opinions about it. Some believed it was a shapeshifter ghost, while others believed it was a ghostly skinwalker, which was often seen in that area. Creepy monkey. A man was walking near the woods when he heard strange noises. Curious, he went to check where they were coming from and saw a monkey searching for food. However, things took a strange turn when the monkey jumped near him. It wasn't an ordinary one. Its right arm was unusual, clearly showing signs of scientific experiments. It seemed the monkey had somehow escaped from a lab. The man chose not to bother it further and quickly left the area. Mermaid ghost. A group of friends went to a nearby river in Indonesia for late-night fishing, but when they reached there, they started hearing some scary sounds, and they had no idea what it was. They started checking everywhere around, and suddenly, one friend saw something he had only heard about in stories. It was a mermaid, sitting still and as if something was wrong with it. They observed her for a while and realized she was possessed, with scary noises coming from her. Bravely, they approached and released her back into the water before leaving. I just hope nothing like this happens to the mermaid again, and she can stay there safely. Demonic snake. This group of tourists were exploring the woods in Indonesia, but then something unexpected happened. A snake appeared in front of them that was far from normal, as it had ears and strange red skin on its body. Fortunately, it was harmless, and they started recording videos of it. When they share it on social sites, people gave different opinions. Some believed the snake was possessed, while others thought it could be the result of a scientific experiment. Historical site creature. While people were casually sitting in a local park in Portugal, they had no idea that something else was there with them. If anyone had seen it, the whole park would probably have been empty in just a few minutes. I'm talking about a demon with big horns, hiding there and observing everyone. It looked like it belonged to some other world, and was now living in the nearby woods. It never appeared again, but who knows? It might still be somewhere there today. Giant arm mystery. A farm laborer was working for a long time, and since it got late, he ended up falling asleep right there on the farm. A little while later, he heard some strange noises. which woke him up. When he checked, he saw something in front of him that was hard to believe. A long arm was coming out of the stable, not like a normal human's, but like the arm of a giant cryptid. He got scared and left, but after that day, nothing like it happened again, and the giant became a mystery. Playground creature. Back in 2016, a tourist came to a park in Houston for a casual walk late at night. As he was about to head back, he felt like there was someone else there with him. He started checking his surroundings, and his suspicion was confirmed. There was definitely something else there, but it wasn't a normal person. It was a creature resembling a skinwalker. It was sitting on a swing, and as soon as the man spotted it, the creature immediately disappeared into the woods. One more thing, it had a tail, which is not typically seen in skinwalkers. So, what exactly it was remains a mystery. Real anomaly.
I can't tell what it is. Any noise.
A local in Peak District National Park, England, saw something that completely puzzled him. At first, he thought it was some kind of big cat, but it wasn't. It was a dark creature that couldn't be seen clearly, and he had no idea what exactly was happening. He recorded a video of it and shared it on online sites, after which people gave various comments. Some believed it was a scientific experiment on an animal, while others thought it was an otherworldly being, and that the man was lucky to have escaped safely from there.
I can't tell what it is. Any noise.
Creepy entity.
Come on, guys.
What's that, Dad?
It's better for kids not to go too deep into the woods, but these kids went far while playing. Everything seemed normal at first, but then they realized someone else was there, and suddenly, a strange creature appeared in front of them that they had no idea about. Before it came closer to harm them, the kids sensed that it wasn't safe to stay, so they quickly ran away and got out safely. But what exactly this creature was, they never found out, and it became a mystery on its own. Trail anomaly. A man was driving through the woods late at night, but suddenly something appeared in front of him that completely shocked him. A strange animal was carrying remains in its mouth, heading deeper into the woods. He chased it for a while to find out what it exactly was, but he couldn't figure it out. He then shared the video on social sites, which quickly went viral, and people gave various opinions about it. Some believed it was a possessed animal, while others thought it was a hyena carrying a zebra's leg. Weird squirrel. Recently, a squirrel in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota, was caught on camera after eating fermented pears left on a picnic table outside a house. The pears had fermented, turning into alcohol, which caused the squirrel to act strangely. As it ate the pears, the squirrel became unsteady, struggling to stand. It swayed, leaned to the side, and appeared dazed, staring at the sky. At one point, the squirrel used a small blue bowl to catch its balance. After a brief moment, it regained its composure and returned to the food, continuing to eat as if nothing had happened. Creature with goat. In a village in Thailand, suddenly, every night, hens started disappearing. Everyone was quite worried, so a group of friends decided to investigate by hiding on a farm at night. They thought it was a thief who was doing this all, but what appeared in front of them in the middle of the night shocked them. It was a strange, dark creature that ran away as soon as it saw them. They chased it, but it went to a goat and hid there, then ran away and jumped into the river. The friends went to catch it, but couldn't. After that, everything went back to normal, and all the credit goes to these friends. Unknown cryptid. A group of tourists were exploring farms in a village in Mexico when suddenly they felt a strange movement near them. At first, they thought it might be an animal, but then suddenly, a dark, strange creature appeared from the fields, which shocked them. It was so dark that only its strange ears and tail could be seen properly. It didn't stay there for long and quickly ran back into the fields. These tourists surely never expected they would see something like this here. Creepy stalker. A man came to visit his relatives, and by night it had gotten quite late. They even told him it wasn't safe to go back at this time and suggested he stay, but he didn't listen. As soon as he stepped outside the house and started heading towards his car, he saw something that shocked him. A scary figure was acting strangely on top of his car, as if it was possessed. After a while, the figure got down and started acting as if it was in great pain. Then, surprisingly, another similar figure appeared. That was the moment he realized he should have stayed, but what those figures were remains a mystery. Alien creature spotted. A man was coming back from work late at night and decided to take a shortcut through the woods, which should never be preferred. Everything seemed normal, but at that time, nothing could stay normal for long. Just as expected, a mutated, strange creature suddenly emerged from the woods and stepped onto the road, causing him to stop his car immediately. He kept observing it for a long time, but still had no idea what exactly it was. He didn't think it was safe to go further and decided to turn back onto the main road, which was the right call. Strange entity. A delivery boy was passing by the woods in Mexico when he suddenly noticed something unusual. At first, he thought someone was picking fruits from a tree, but when he looked closely, he was shocked. It wasn't a normal human. Its legs were like those of a goat, and surprisingly, it was standing upright on two legs. Unfortunately, its head couldn't be seen as it was hidden behind the tree branches. He stayed hidden for a while, observing it, but then realized that staying there might not be safe. So he left. I believe this was the legendary Goat Man. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. Dark creature. In a small town in Utah, authorities had prohibited locals from entering the woods. But one man, curious to know more, sneaked into the restricted woods. He was observing the surroundings when, out of nowhere, a beast-like creature resembling a dog man appeared. Before the creature could notice him, the man quickly ran away from there and never returned. Creepy animal! There is a place in Portugal where locals were not allowed to go, but this man secretly entered the area. He was curious to know why locals were forbidden from entering this place. It looked like some kind of lab. At first, nothing unusual appeared, but then he noticed a cage nearby. When he approached and took a closer look, he was shocked to see a puppy inside, but its face looked human. It seemed like this could have been some kind of scientist's experiment, combining a human and a dog. He immediately ran away from there and never went back again. Creepy goat. A farmer heard strange noises late at night in his yard and thought a wild animal might be bothering his cattle. But when he went outside, it was completely opposite of what he had expected. Surprisingly, one of his goats was standing on two legs. Its ears, horns, and eyes looked completely strange. He thought that some paranormal activity might have caused it to become possessed. He locked the goat in a room, but the next day, it disappeared, and it was never found again. Creepy creature. A boy went to spend his vacation at his uncle's house in New Jersey. One night, he heard strange noises, but ignored them and went to sleep. The next day, he noticed several hens were missing and thought a wild animal was responsible. A few days later, he heard the noises again and decided to capture the animal. But when he checked, he saw a creepy creature that was so scary it was enough to frighten anyone terribly. Its appearance resembled that of a Chupacabra, but its body had scary horns that made its look even more creepy. The creature tried to scare him away, but the boy stayed brave. Eventually, the creature ran off and never returned. Humanoid Skinwalker. In Romania, a man was going to his friend's house when he suddenly noticed something unusual in a group of stray dogs. At first, he thought it was a different breed of dog, but when he looked closely, he was shocked. It was a humanoid skinwalker among these dogs. He couldn't believe how a scariest creature could casually live among the stray dogs like that. He observed all of this for a while, and then left the place. Ghost dog. A man's dog was making a lot of noise in the middle of the night. When the man looked out of the window, he saw the dog running around casually. He thought everything was normal and went back to sleep. The next day, the dog was unusually quiet, so out of curiosity, he decided to check the CCTV footage from the previous night. What he saw in the footage completely shocked him. His dog wasn't alone there. It was playing with a ghost dog. Since that day, his dog was never the same. Who knows? Maybe the ghost entered the dog. Chupacabra.
Y el tamaño de... Esos son brazos, esos no son...
A group of experts were exploring the woods in Mexico when they suddenly came across something that left them completely shocked. It was a strange skeleton that, they assumed, belonged to a wild animal. However, upon closer inspection, they realized it was something entirely different. Its terrifying claws, creepy face, and the horns on its body all pointed to one conclusion. It was the legendary Chupacabra. They took it with them for further examination, but since that day, no information about it has ever been revealed. It seems the authorities wanted to keep it a secret that they had actually found the remains of a Chupacabra.
Cuidado, qué horrible huele. No.
Creepy creature. Back in 2021, a local in Dallas felt strange noises around his home in the middle of the night. At that time, he didn't think it was safe to go outside. The next day, when he checked his CCTV footage, he realized that staying inside had been the right decision. It was a creepy humanoid with shiny eyes, and it seemed like it was looking for something to eat. Where it went after that, no one ever found out. But for a long time, everyone in the town stayed on high alert. Tiny shadows. Back in 2017, a group of friends in Russia were going into the woods for camping. Suddenly, they noticed that something was hiding itself behind a rock. They stopped their car, directed the headlights towards the rock, and then a tiny being appeared there. It didn't fully appear, but half of its appearance was enough to scare them. It looked like a goblin or a little cryptid being who was secretly living there. They decided not to go ahead and went back home, which I would say was the right call. Dog possessed by Skinwalker. A local in Philadelphia heard barking sounds in his house and thought a stray dog had come inside. When he checked, he saw something that completely puzzled him. It was a dog, but not an ordinary one. Its legs looked like a skinwalker's. It looked like there was a scientific lab nearby where an experiment had been done on it, and it had escaped from there. He handed it over to the authorities, but I believe he should have kept it with him because who knows, the authorities might take it back to where it came from. Creepy creature. After watching the video, it will feel like a scene from a sci-fi movie. Back in 2020, people in Russia were waiting for the traffic signal to turn green when suddenly something happened that stunned everyone. A scary, giant, skinwalker-like creature casually walked past them, and no one had the courage to get out of their car and look at it. It went into the woods and wandered there for a long time, moving around in the same way. No one knew where it came from, but it terrified everyone who saw it there. After some time, it disappeared into the woods and was never seen again. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. A boy in Poland often used to go into the woods to spend some time alone, but this time he went far deeper and saw an abandoned house. There he saw a scary cryptid creature there, probably looking for something to eat. It had weirdly long arms that resembled a spider, but a face that told another story. The boy kept his nerves strong and threw a stick toward him. At this point, I thought he had made a huge mistake, but surprisingly, the creature didn't notice him and went away. The brave boy returned home safely, but the creature remained a mystery.